And we are live. Welcome to episode 90 of the SideQuest podcast, the Hot Tub Edition.
Hot Tub Edition.
Guys,
Hot
I
tub.
have huge plans. I have got a general contractor coming, okay?
Okay.
We're going to take the roof right off of this office. The roof is coming off.
Ooh,
We're going to get
okay.
a sliding sunroof, okay? So in the rain, still good, still watertight. Putting a hot tub in the office. I've seen the hot tub streams. I heard these people are making like 50 grand a stream. So this is only going to cost me like $300,000 to do. I think it's going to pay for itself in like 2 weeks. Right? This is
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
As long as you need to make sure you learn the full hot tub meta. You need to make sure you have text that says changing into cute bikini.
Oh,
Make sure you have a
cute
bikini, Briar.
bikinis.
Okay, good. Make sure it's changing into sexy bikini. You got to write people's names on various things.
Okay.
Like what things?
Be careful with the things, Briar.
I only got so many things.
Will you then sell the hot? But the question is, will you then sell the hot tub water afterwards?
Yeah.
Bottle it up, sell it.
I'll even put it in the soda stream so it's nice and fizzy.
Oh, you're very thoughtful. You're very thoughtful. You need to throw in a slice of lemon.
That's kind of hot tubber I am.
Throw in a slice of lemon, for some extra added flavor.
I am so excited. I had to take out a small loan from Tony down the street. It's kind of high interest, but I really think I'm making a good financial move here.
Setting up a business.
Yeah.
A business that I'm pretty sure you just press the button and then you get $50,000 instantly.
Perfect. That's the button I want to hit.
In life, you got to take those risks, right?
What if, Briar, here's a concept.
Okay.
What if people could gift a certain amount of subs to have their claim to part of the Briar meat?
Wait a minute.
After it's cooked.
What if I sold non-fungible tokens for parts of my body?
Yeah, don't gift 100 subs and you can claim a tiny chunk of Briar's thigh.
Yeah.
That's yours. We can't touch it. You own it. It's like owning a highway.
The taint is at a discount.
Oh my. And then you can have people like if they pay enough, you can have them tattoo.
Oh, I don't know if I want to get my taint tattooed, to be honest with you. That sounds extraordinarily painful.
And as you might be able to tell, Tefty isn't here, hence why this is happening.
Speaking of bad decisions, I also bought a Mustang over the weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice.
But did you actually, or is this?
No. What do you mean? You don't believe my hot tub story?
I mean, I do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I bought a Mustang. It's black, and it has a big old motor. It's got a button that you can change how loud the exhaust is.
Oh.
Which is fun.
Okay.
My wife went for a drive in it. She's like, "How do I make it louder? How do I make it louder?" I'm like, keep hitting the button.
Amazing.
And it's got a start button. They don't have keys anymore, right? You don't turn the key to start it up. Which I kind of miss. You remember when you kind of felt like satisfied to like turn the key. It's like rah 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 rah. You know what I mean? Now you just hit a button. It's like it does it all for you. This digital feature is a little less satisfying in some ways. But the button pulses at 30 beats per minute, the same as the heartbeat from a horse.
Oh, that's a nice detail.
That's very cool, actually.
Okay. It is kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
The one thing that's annoying about the button starts on cars as well, because I've got one in mine, is like if ever you have like one of those cold mornings where like it's the battery's like trying to sort of chug a little bit. At least when you have a key, you can kind of do that thing. With the button, it's like either yes or no. It's like no, I'm not starting today. Nothing you can do about this.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Some of the mechanical like feel of machines in general have been lost due to all the electronics. I mean, things are much more reliable. Cars are much more powerful than they were even 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But like e-brakes, like it's not as fun to click a button and have an e-brake, keep your car safe, as it was to be going 30 miles an hour down a snowy road and yank an e-brake and go spinning down the road.
I still got regular. Oh, okay.
You
Wait,
still have a regular
do you drive
e-brake?
manual or automatic? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a manual.
Okay, yeah, nice, yeah. I've
But
still got a regular e-brake, or we call it a handbrake, but
right. That's a
same
good
thing.
name. I think it's actually
Handbrake.
emergency brake has some immediacy to it that I enjoy.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
But the handbrake is very descriptive.
Yeah, it's a hand. You're braking.
Yeah. What do you
Handbrake.
call windshields? You call it something different. Screen, right? Windscreen.
Windscreen. Yeah. And then we call
that
it.
doesn't make
what
any
is it, the
sense.
front.
That sounds like a screen door where all the wind is just gonna be blowing at you right through the screen door.
Well, it's like a screen to the world, right? I'm like looking at the world through my screen.
Yeah.
Whereas yours is a shield from the wind.
Yeah, it's a shield made out of glass.
Americans are very closed.
Not a screen.
Not very fun and open and positive. This is what I'm
about
learning.
the other parts, right? So like the front of the thing that you lift up, we will call the bonnet.
The bonnet, yeah, I like that. It's kind of cute. It reminds me of like a old timey prairie wife in a Conestoga wagon with her bonnet.
But then in the back we call it the boot, whereas you call it the trunk.
No, boot is better. Boot is legit just better. And then cars that have a front trunk, a frunk.
I've never heard that before.
I guess we couldn't just say a foot. You could say
a foot. That's just a foot.
No, it's not. No, it's a foot.
A foot.
It's a foot. Add it to one of the many English words that are spelled exactly the same and said completely differently.
I like also your spelling of tires. That's better with the Y.
Oh, do you actually spell it with an I?
Yeah, we spell it with an I. Not as good. The Y is better.
True. Damn. Now I've learned.
Welcome to DCP learning session where we learn about the differences between the UK and the US.
I told you what I was going to talk about today.
And then we battle to the death.
I warned you.
It's true. We haven't moved on to Crocs yet, so I feel like we're
It'll come.
on a good start.
I don't have to force that one. That one will just come up in conversation at some point.
It's true.
Yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun. My wife is very angry with me. I named it Jolene. Are you guys familiar with the hit Dolly Parton song Jolene?
Yes, I am.
Where it's Dolly Parton begging Jolene not to take her man, because Jolene is so pretty and so attractive that her man couldn't possibly be happy to stay with Dolly Parton. So she's not happy that I called it Jolene.
Oh dear.
She's a little offended.
Now your wife just has to start an affair with Jolene. That's how you get back at it.
That could be. She likes Jolene a lot. She named her car Tallulah.
Okay.
Tallulah.
Yeah.
That's a place.
That's a place?
I call mine the Red Dragon.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I call mine the Mazda CX-5.
What kind of car is that?
I don't know. Who knows? Can't tell. No idea.
What kind of car is the Red Dragon?
A Toyota GT86.
Oh, I like those.
Oh, I think. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
Well, I think over in do you still have Toyotas in the States? Or because I know normally it's called the FRS over there, isn't it? Or do you still also have Toyotas?
I think it is called the FRS. That's the one that Subaru and Toyota kind of teamed up and both make.
Yeah.
I think it is called the FRS. I think you're right. And then Subaru has a different name for it, but it's a very similar car.
Yeah.
But GT, what is it called? GT8?
GT86.
86. That's a better name. See, you guys are really good at naming stuff.
You guys had the exact same language.
Yeah.
And then just decided to abandon everything.
Well, I live in New England, right? And we basically just stole all your names for stuff. We took New England, New York, New Hampshire. We just I don't know what to call it. We'll just call it New. We're basically like the Apple of naming stuff over here.
It's not incorrect.
Should we talk about video games?
Maybe a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I guess
we've already known we know from last week now that our ploy to make millions of pounds by loading PS3s with games and selling them has now been scuppered.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Why is this? Tell the people.
Well, Sony has backed down. They're going to leave
Mhm.
the PlayStation 3 and the PSP, the PS Vita store open. They kind of came out with a little apology letter. They said, like, we this is a mistake. We're not gonna close them, but we're still gonna close the PSP store because like nobody's buying that stuff on that. It's still sad that they're gonna close down the PSP store, but I think it's an overall win for gamers that they
Yeah.
they saw the response for the PS3 and PS Vita store, and they're gonna leave them open because there are a lot of good games on there that are really hard to get otherwise.
Yeah, I'm very happy they decided to go back on this because even if there's not a ton of people that are interested in downloading stuff, it's important to preserve those games. You don't want them to just be lost forever.
Yeah. Also,
Mm.
like if you are currently buying digital games, like and they start to disappear on like older
Yeah.
platforms, like it gets a little squirrely. Like, am I going to be able to play these games? Am I going to be able to patch these games? Like, what happens, in the future to these games that I did buy, I did pay money for, and maybe I want to, the rumor is that they were looking at doing another remake for The Last of Us. But what if I have Last of Us for PS3 and I want to go back and play that? Well, what if they shut down the store and you can't patch it, so you don't even know like what the final version of the PS3 version of The Last of Us was. And then, same with the PS4 version. I don't know. I'm glad they're going back on this.
Me
It just
too.
makes me really nervous because they're going to do it again, right? Like this is temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's one of those, yeah, it's one of those, it's one of those. It's one of those weird sort of things. Where, I mean, I guess maybe they're just sort of. I wonder as well if they're doing it at the moment because of the times that we're in. Because it's like they clearly want to do it at some point, and they, as you say, they're probably going to revisit this right now. But I wonder if it sort of coincides with. I saw another announcement that went up that sort of said that there's like a play at home thing for Horizon at the moment. Like if you haven't played Horizon before, like during a certain like date window, you can play these things at home. And I wonder, like, because again, we kind of spoke about last week, looking at the sort of the current landscape and the way that it's quite weird that we're in April and short of like Resident Evil and Guilty Gear and maybe like one other thing, there's not really too many things on our calendar right now. And obviously PlayStation, they said that they put their announcement recently to say they're kind of putting focus on their current core IP. So I do wonder whether, I mean, we know this, that everyone's been hit hard by current working conditions. And whereas a lot of projects they were trying to sort of finish off because they'd already started them. So it was just like get it over the line. Whereas now that they're just like having to spin up a lot of stuff from the ground up, still working from home, I wonder whether it's like, oh, you know what, our landscape right now is kind of barren. We don't have many games. Let's actually not pull this store down because we haven't really got anything to fill the void for a while. I wonder what will happen if we fast forward, a year when things start to get back to normal, and then they're like, all right, now we're back in full production. Yeah, we'll kick this out now. It'd be interesting to see how long they stand with that, really.
Yeah. I wondered at the time. I didn't do this aloud because I didn't want to give any reason for Sony to excuse shutting this thing down. But I did wonder if maybe there were keeping these things open held back the PlayStation Network in some way, like because you're like, for instance, if you try and log into the PlayStation 3 store right now and you have two-factor authentication turned on, you have to go onto their website and log into your PlayStation account and turn that off to then log into the PlayStation 3 store and buy anything because it's not compatible with two-factor authentication. So it's essentially the same PlayStation Network that you're logging into on the PlayStation 3. And I wonder if that legacy support for the network itself is holding back development on future projects for the PlayStation 5 and beyond. Like name changes, right? It took them forever to allow you to change your name on the PlayStation Network. And one of the reasons I had always heard it was because of legacy support for older consoles.
Right, okay.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't really see much other reason as to why they would be like, we don't want to support it anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it's costing them something or making something difficult.
It can't cost that much money, right? You can always just scale back servers until, I mean,
yeah,
to them.
Because they must also be they must also be like update the, get like some kind of visibility on the numbers anyway. I mean, like, from a scale point of view, like, oh, only
Yeah, that's the good stuff right
Yeah.
there, isn't it, Watts?
That
Look at
is.
that. Are
Yeah,
you
I
got the
miss
same
this.
kind of
I miss this. That's a good freeze.
that
That's
is a
a
good
good face.
freeze. That
So
I
please
kinda
feel
want
free to
that to
take
be my
pictures.
avatar on Twitter, actually. I think I'm just gonna
You should. Yeah,
take a picture of that.
you should. It's a really good freeze. This is the Erics we missed.
Yeah, Eric's is having a little bit of internet trouble today. We're really, really sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're bringing these back, or I'm glad they're not taking them away when they said. I am still a little worried about the PSP. At least, though, a lot of the PSP's library is available physically. They
True.
didn't have a lot of digital only games for the PSP. There were some, but it wasn't as prolific as it was for the PS Vita. And
Yeah.
there are still people who develop games or are supporting games on the PS Vita, and that was really pissing those people off. Can you imagine that? You're like, your primary revenue source is the PS Vita, and then Sony's just
Yeah.
like out of the blue, like, "Oh yeah, we're shutting that down." Like, our company's built
Yeah,
around
I'm
that
very
revenue.
happy they listened.
Yeah,
Very, very happy.
that face is intoxicating.
Okay. I can't look up, it's too distracting.
It's too distracting.
That's too distracting. I need to think about video games.
What else we got going on?
Well, today as well, Apex, so they announced their new character in an animated trailer, which Respawn are killing it with animated trailers and honestly just killing it in general. Like
yeah,
people seem to be generally pretty happy with Apex. I know there's the same issue that a lot of places have, which is cheaters and all of that. But why are you scrambling to make things look better?
should I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there for a second. See
Just
if he
just
comes
just leave
back.
it there. It's fine. Yeah, just in case. Um, but yeah, they're killing it. So they announced the new legend who is you played Titanfall 2 campaign, right?
I think that's one of my favorite campaigns of any game of all time. Like, it was
Do you
so good.
remember a character called Viper?
No, I don't.
Well, it's kind of a callback to the Titanfall story because this girl who is the new character, her dad was Viper, who was in the Titanfall 2 campaign.
Okay.
So this is like a real big callback to Titanfall 2 with her release. But also they announced that they're releasing Apex Mobile. And they're not just doing it the way that a lot of other places do it, where they kind of just take the game and then put it on a cell phone. They're doing it to where they are they're making the game for mobile specifically. It's gonna have its own battle pass that's separate from the PC stuff. There's not gonna be crossplay because it's just purely created for your mobile device.
Yeah.
So I think that's kinda cool. I mean, no crossplay is maybe not great, but the fact that they're really curating this experience to be good on your phone is
Is there gonna be controller support, you think?
I don't know, actually. That would be
It
cool if there is.
That is pretty cool because it's like you can get pretty small, kind of like, like
Yeah.
compatible controllers for iOS and Android, and have a pretty good gaming experience. I feel like now, and a game like that, I feel like that game like that would be pretty good on a phone, especially if you had a decent Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
But now, even with 5G rolling out, like I feel like mobile gaming could even explode more because these things are getting more
That's
and more
true.
powerful. The screens are getting bigger with like things like iPad and Android tablets.
Mhm.
Like, you think this is gonna be the future? You think mobile gaming is really gonna be the future?
I mean, it's really big in Asia already.
Yeah,
Huge. I think people prefer to make mobile games than other games over there. And the more people are on their phones, the more they're gonna find that this is gonna work out. Like with League of Legends and Wild Rift, that's been going crazy. People are loving it. So, I think the more that people are investing in mobile experiences that feel good on a phone and it's not just taking the experience from a console and attempting to put it on a phone, I think it's gonna end up doing real good.
yeah. I can't personally imagine playing a whole lot of FPS games on my phone.
No,
Like,
me
but
neither.
I have a lot of options.
Yeah,
If
that's
your
true.
if your option is like, mobile, then I could see it. Like you're gonna play where the game where you have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
I don't,
maybe you work a bunch or it takes you like a super long time to get home on public
yeah,
transport. You're still able to enjoy gaming without having to wait to get home, which is good. We don't have to make that choice. So I think mobile gaming for me is not really my thing.
Yeah.
But I know that it's great to have really good options for people that need them.
Yeah. I have played some mobile games. Have you ever gotten into a mobile game like really deep?
Not really deep.
No.
No.
I used to play Field Runners a ton. I think it was called Field Runners.
Mhm.
It was one of those like tower defense games.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I used to play it for hours. Like my phone would overheat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But that was quite a few years ago. I haven't played it in a long time. It was getting like to be disruptive because it's
I
always
can
right there in your
imagine.
pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, with how much I'm like, "Oh, I'll just look at Twitter, I guess." I do. I can imagine that
Yeah.
would just turn to me going, "Oh, I guess I'll just play this
Yeah.
this game, and then I'll be there for hours."
Yeah. I'll just do one level and then an hour later you're like,
Yeah, whereas if everything is in the office, I'm making that decision to go in the office, sit down, and play. Whereas if it's on my phone, it's like, "Yeah, I'll just
yeah.
pick it up and play a little bit."
That's a good distinction, right? It's like if even in front
Yeah,
of a TV, you sit down in the living room, you turn on the TV, you turn on your PlayStation or Xbox, and you are now intentionally like you have begun play session. But with a
exactly.
phone always in your pocket, it's so easy to just whip it out and start fiddling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big distinction. You can see why there'd be a lot of money in it too. And like with all the mobile transactions that they do, because mobile gamers I feel like are much more willing and accepting to microtransactions, right?
Yeah, that can be the problem. I mean, it's probably also that there's just those types of games tend to be the ones that are on mobile phones, where it's the, gotcha games or games that have a bunch of microtransactions. So I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. It's just been the precedent. So, um, I don't know. It could maybe change. Maybe.
I was looking on eBay a couple of weeks ago because I had heard that phones that still have Flappy Bird on them are selling for like
That's
$1,000,
right. I
and it's
heard about
true.
that.
Like
It's true.
old iPhones, like iPhone 4s and 5s that have Flappy Bird installed with on them are selling for like absorbent amounts of money.
Well, Flappy Bird was a huge game when everyone was playing Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
That was an amazing time.
Yeah, that game got pulled off the store. For anybody who's not familiar with the story, that game got pulled off the store because the creator of it thought it was like it was taking up too many people's time, and it was too like I don't know his exact reasoning. There was some speculation that he had been kind of approached by unseemly people and just wanted to like rid himself
Mm,
of this whole mess. But yeah, the game got taken
yeah.
off of the store at the height of its popularity, and there's a million other games that are exactly like it. So it's not like, but
Yeah, he regretted his own creation. He was like, "I've made people addicted to this thing. The whole world is addicted and they're doing this instead of being productive. I don't wanna do it anymore." And whether that's the real reason or not,
yeah,
it's interesting.
he made a mint off of it too. So it's like,
Oh, I can imagine.
but he could have made like 8 mints.
That's true.
He could have had a whole pack of mints. I don't know. Mobile gaming is cool. I like that game a lot. So I'm hoping that they find success. I still want them to make a new Titanfall game though.
I know, it's the more they do these kind of crossovers, I don't know if it gives me hope or less hope.
Yeah,
'Cause it kinda does a bit of both. Less hope because maybe they're trying to just import the Titanfall world more and more into Apex. But a little part of me is like, well, maybe they're doing this to then introduce Apex community and players who didn't play Titanfall into a new Titanfall.
yeah.
I don't know, could go either way. But
I don't
Apex
know.
is so, so good for them.
Yeah, it really is. Didn't It's Vince Zampella, right? He was the ex Call of Duty guy
Yeah.
that went over to EA and started. What's the name of the developer that does Titanfall and Apex?
Respawn.
Respawn. Thank you. And
Respawn,
then
yeah.
now he's been promoted inside EA, right?
Oh, has he? I didn't even know
I
that.
think so. I think I was reading that. So now he's got quite a bit of power, I believe, inside EA. So maybe that means that there is hope for Titanfall, or maybe it's just a stupid decision to make more Titanfall games, and that they should just
When
focus
yeah,
on more Apex, which makes a ton of money.
maybe. Eric's is
There he
I'm
back.
is.
back. I'm sorry.
We
No
did
Getting
no
problem.
worries.
sabotaged the day.
Not your fault.
Was it about Titanfall?
We were talking about Apex and, how they're bringing a lot of Titanfall into Apex, and
True.
thinking if that is good or bad, sign for a Titanfall 3. 'Cause it could
Yeah, that's it's interesting. It makes me think about that, right? Because with regards to Titanfall, like Titanfall is one of those things that it's a crying shame because it's such a fantastic game, such a fantastic series. And if they weren't so stubborn about when they released it, because I respect,
Mhm.
it's a fantastic franchise, and everyone wants to to believe their game is great and people will buy it. But the reality is, when they release Titanfall 2 in the middle of COD and Battlefield, you're just asking for your game to die. Like
Yeah,
I think Titanfall 2 is better than both COD and Battlefield. But a
it
lot
is.
of people are just like, "What's this?" Nah, yeah. So the thing is, it was destined to fail. And the problem with that is that now that we're like, well, we could make a Titanfall 3, but Apex is just printing money for us.
Yeah.
What's the point? So
Yeah, yeah.
so
That's
I do
why it's
worry.
I'm like,
Mm,
"Oh, well, maybe all of this, bringing Titanfall lore into the game is trying to ease people into being interested in the Titanfall world, which would then allow them to release Titanfall 3, and people are like, 'Oh, that character is from Titanfall. I wanna see, more of her story in a single player
mm.
campaign,' or I don't know, it could go either way. It's hard to say.
I hope
Yeah.
they do though, because
I hope
I
they
feel like
do.
given a proper because I definitely think the landscape has changed now. I feel like back then was still the point where people were still very sort of hyped and typical about like COD and Battlefield. I do feel like everyone still plays the new CODs and Battlefields, but I do think people have gone through so many now that people are a little bit less just like, oh, it's a Call of Duty, I'm gonna be there. So I feel like people are now looking for something new.
Yeah.
Um so given a good launch window, and given like if they put it on next gen, it looks like crispy and fantastic. I think could be cool. Could be cool.
That game looks stupendous on the last gen. Imagine what they could do on the next
Mm,
gen, right?
Mm.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
yeah.
god.
Yeah, they're really, really good at what they do. And
'Cause-
they just reached, what was it, 100 million active users? Or, like, active accounts on Apex? People who have logged in and played a game?
Wow.
weren't they supposed to be? I heard like I mean, unless you might have already touched on it while I was AFK, but didn't they say there was they're going to be bringing actual Titans into Apex as well?
They keep saying that they're bringing more Titanfall to Apex, and they keep saying that, and then people are like, "Where's the Titans if there's more Titanfall in
Yeah.
Apex?" So I don't know what exactly their plans are for bringing Titanfall stuff.
Although, truth be told, I feel like Apex has the best of it because, like, for me, when I used to play Titanfall online, the Titans were cool. Don't get me wrong, but I just love the wall running most. Like, it's
Yeah.
because the thing is, I love games where you can wall run, but there's a lot of games where you do it and it's just a bit janky. It's like you're gonna
Yeah,
wall run to run over a pit, but you're not really gonna do like it was so fluid in like Titanfall to be able to actually wall run and be able to actually shoot people. It's just like that is impressive.
That's
So
actually what I liked the most out of Titanfall
mhm,
was I love the campaign, but I love the pilot only multiplayer mode the most.
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
mhm,
so
yeah.
fun. Like I couldn't care less really about the Titans. I really
Mm,
wanted to play the pilot only because the fluid movement, the gunplay was right on the money. Everything about it was just so good.
It was
mm.
very good. They made it to where you didn't have to try super hard to get on a wall. Like, it kinda
Yeah,
just did a lot of the work for you, which, man, it makes that experience so much better.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true.
So much
But look, right, if they're
better.
not gonna make a Titanfall 3, Capcom, give us Lost Planet. Bring it
Yes.
back.
Agreed.
Right?
I've never
Like,
agreed with you more than I do right now.
yes. Look, Lost Planet is one of these series, right? It's just like I love it so much. Like, let's not talk about Lost Planet 3, right? But Lost Planet 1, Lost Planet 2, fantastic games. They had incredible multiplayer. They were so much fun to play. They I remember when I played Lost Planet 1 for the first time. This was back in the day before I was like big into online gaming, and I was playing on PS3 and like I was like, oh, I like snow, I
Yep.
like mechs, I like grappling hooks. Cool. I want to like third person shooters because I can't shoot to save my life in a first person shooter, so I won't play those. But for third person shooters, oh, I'm there. And that game, there was just so many cool things in it. I mean, like there was a disc grenade. Like you throw a frisbee and you just snipe it, and you're like, bam, like that.
That was cool.
It was so cool, like that. They need to bring that back because it was super promising. But yeah, I know 3 was a bit like I don't even remember 3. It was a bit
Was
rough
3
around the edges.
multiplayer only game?
No, it had a campaign, but I think the
It did.
campaign was a bit rough as well. I don't remember it too much, but I remember it just being the bad one. But 2 was great because 2 was almost the perfect hybrid because they had all the
Mm,
cool stuff. Plus, there were like Monster Hunter elements in there as well. I was like, "Ooh, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
Capcom, bring it back. I mean, Capcom were killing it now. Everything they bring
they
back
are.
just prints the money. So you might as well give us Lost Planet.
Capcom is like you're right. Everything they do right now. I want to play
Hmm.
everything they do right now.
They're taking over the world, quite literally, because people now are wanting to use their engine. It's even people
True.
who aren't, games that aren't being created from Capcom or from uh, any company that's close to them. Like there's that new game, I can't remember the name of it. Whereas the little girl in the trailer, there's a little girl and the astronaut kind of saves her and flies off into space.
Oh yeah, that's a weird one.
I don't even know that one.
Was that
Because during the
Returnal?
Resident Evil no, Returnal's a different one. I don't know
Okay.
what this one is. I'll have to find the name. But they showed a trailer of that game. Pragmata.
That's right.
Ah.
Pragmata, that's correct. Thank you, chat. They showed a trailer of that in the Resident Evil showcase, and I was like, "What's this got to do with Resident Evil?" And then I saw that it's being created on the RE engine. I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so Capcom, they have one of the best engines. They're putting out all of these massive loved games. Resident Evil, so if we want to talk about that a little bit, the demo for the village portion of this whole demo situation was available last Saturday. And I didn't play it because I wanted to stream it and I completely forgot that it was happening. But I did watch people do it when I realized, oh crap, god damn it. So and it's got big Resident Evil 4 vibes.
Yeah, big, right?
Big. I would think I was watching, Maximilian play it, and he was just like, Look at the map! It's literally Resident Evil 4. There's, like, mines, and you can throw
Really?
mines at the lichens, and yeah, big and all the crafting and upgrading and stuff. It's got a lot of Resident Evil 4 in it.
I think like story-wise and character-wise and like all that
Mhm.
stuff, Resident Evil 4 is by far my favorite Resident Evil because it gets a little serious, but then like as you progress in the game, it gets more and more kind of ridiculous and fun. I fucking love that game. It's so good. If that's what we can expect from Village, I'll be extremely happy. And then they're making remaking Resident Evil 4 too, right?
In VR.
In VR.
Yeah.
That's gonna be terrifying.
It was
That's only
terrifying
gonna
when
be
they
on
just
Oculus Quest though, right?
Oh, really?
correct, I think. They only during the showcase, they only had the Oculus guys talking about it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it is only for the Quest.
It only just occurred to me that I think every game I'm playing right now is a Capcom game because I'm Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 5. A new character came out yesterday or today.
Oh, yeah.
Last night.
Was that Rose?
Rose, yeah, she just came out. So I'm
Mhm.
playing a lot of Street Fighter as I've said before, so I won't go into it. Monster Hunter, obviously.
Yeah.
I also bought the new Ghouls and Ghosts, which I haven't even played yet. It's just sitting there on my computer, just waiting for me to play it. I haven't even played it because I'm just so busy with other Capcom games.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is coming out next month. I know I'm going to
Mhm.
play that because I play everything Resident Evil except for 6.
Yeah, and this wasn't so far, people who played the demo seem to really enjoy it, and, so coming up on this Saturday, there's gonna be a demo available to experience the castle. So you get to go inside of the castle where they make the wine out of briar virgins. Virgin
That's
briar.
offensive.
So it's looking like it's gonna be a good Resident Evil. Plus, I'm thinking maybe I'll be slightly less scared due to all the beautiful women.
Maybe.
Until she
Maybe.
brings out her claws and just like starts cutting your head off, and you're like, okay, what's the
Yeah.
lie?
But so it's when they catch me, I'm not so scared. It's the I don't want to get caught that's scary to me. So when they catch me and they're
Yeah.
grabbing me and they're doing the animation, I'm like, I'm already freaking dead. What am I doing?
That's a good point.
It's the oh boy, please don't be anything around this corner or some jump scares, and that's the stuff that gets me.
The constant dread of like hiding and sneaking around.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
terrible. But also exhilarating.
True.
So
yeah.
I watched a video as to why humans like scary movies and scary games and stuff.
Okay.
And there was a theory that because when we were, gathering or hunting or whatever, we had those experiences and those emotions all the time of fear and dread and running away and the heightened adrenaline that comes along with that. And they were saying, because generally in humanity, where it is now, you don't experience that as much, especially where, we live. the humans kind of want to seek out that feeling again because it's a very natural feeling that we've had through evolving
Yeah, that's
in the world.
why adrenaline junkies are the way they are, right? That's
Yeah.
because they're seeking out that like danger and that like that split second of mortal danger. You know,
Yeah.
that like you don't get anymore while you're streaming from your hot tub. Like it's just not there anymore.
Yeah, no worries. Easy breezy,
Yeah, the
easy breezing.
comfort. It's true. Did you
What else
guys
we got?
catch the Nindy Direct last week?
No, what's going on with the Nindies?
So there were a few. I mean, they're typical. Like again, we haven't had like a actual Nintendo. Well, I say actual Nindy Directs are still awesome, but they haven't had like conventional Nintendo Directs. But there's a few games in there. One of the ones that I tweeted about, I know you definitely noticed, Brian. There was the Getsu Fumeden Undying Moon. So this is from Konami. This is the kind of like
sounds like Briar's stuff is some weeb stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's kind of like yokai Yukio-e sort of paint style, but it's like a Metroidvania / roguelite style game. But I think it's to be fair, this one is more leaning just towards the Metroidvania style. But yeah, it's the one that I think after I told you that you saw it on Twitter and stuff. But that one looks really really cool because
yes.
Do you remember Muramasa the Demon Blade back on the Wii?
Yes.
The vanilla way, yeah. So that game is fantastic, and this looks kind of like the closest we're going to get to that until they decide to port that. So that one looks really really cool. It was only a short trailer, but basically, just if you imagine the sort of typical Japanese painted sort of inky art style, which they call it Yukio-e or Yukio-e, and then it's all got like demons in. It's kind of got all the cool Metroidvania exploration, all that kind of stuff like that. So it looks very very cool. But the other one they showed, it's already out if you play on Steam, but I tend to just like when these games are only on Steam, I ignore them until they come on Switch because I'm a massive Nintendo fanboy. Skull the Hero Slayer. This game looks so good, right? Pixel art wise, the pixel art is incredible for this thing. And the premise of it, this one is a roguelite, but the premise for it is you play as Skull and he's got different heads, and depending on the different heads you have different powers, and you can combine the different heads to have like cool different permutations. There's even like some collaborations. There's like a Dead Cells character in there as well, but like there's just so many different cool like combat elements. You're going from like being like a knight with like an ice spear into like this giant axe into like, I don't know, like a massive version. There's just so many cool things, and it's just like super bright, super vibrant, like fantastic pixel art. I mean, yeah. So if anyone wants to play it already, then you can have already played it on Steam. I think there was like a beta for a while, then obviously now the actual game is out. But it's coming to Switch, I think in May. I want to say, or it might. I think it's either May or just like soon. I'm not sure if there's an actual date or not. Yeah. So those are the two that stood out to me the most.
Yeah,
there were like,
definitely.
I mean, if people like some of the other games, like if you like sort of the skating games, then that Oli Oli game, they've got like a new one, Oli Oli 3, but it's sadly not called Oli Oli Oli.
Yeah,
I think it's called Oli Oli World. So if you like skate games, there's that kind of stuff. I don't think for me there was anything else that stood out really, but they were the main ones. So I cannot wait for them.
I think visually the what was this one called? The Aztec Forgotten Gods looked pretty impressive.
Yes. True.
Because that was the style of that. I was just like, ooh, I like the style that they're going with that one.
Yeah, it had that sort of almost like Breath of the Wildy style, or
Yeah.
like Genshin style. Yeah. Look to it. True.
Oh, this game does look cool.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, completely, it wasn't anything to do with the Nindy Direct, but did you guys see the other day? I think apparently it was like a trailer for it like 2 years ago. And apparently there was like a demo or like a beta or something, but then it actually finally came out. There is the World of Demons, which is the Platinum game. It's a mobile game, which is kind of annoying because like when I first saw the trailer, again, like it's all like inky art style. It's basically like yokais, but it's Platinum, right? So obviously we know like anytime Platinum do a game, their combat is so good. So you see the trailer and you're like, whoa, this looks incredible. But then it's a mobile game, which to be fair, I don't mind because I'm like, I've played some decent mobile games. I'm not like against that. But then it's also only on the Apple Arcade, so it's hyper restricted.
Oh.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, like it looks fantastic, and I'm like, I'm gonna download it because it's out now. I haven't had a chance to do it just yet, because I'm just like, well, look, it's Platinum. If anyone's gonna get it right, it's gonna be them anyway. But it's just like, it just kind of sucks a bit that it's just like hyper. Not only is it mobile, but it's also Apple Arcade. So I've seen a lot of people being like, I wanted to check it out, but not sure how I feel about the Apple Arcade.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Because the mobile thing, I'm like, oh, well, I guess I could try it. Then it's the arcade, and I'm like, oh, geez. It's a whole other barrier to deal with.
This game's got to come to Switch, right? Unless maybe it's an exclusive to Apple. They do
maybe,
exclusives. Does
Yeah.
anybody do? You know how like what's that website that does the comparison videos between like the PlayStation and the Xbox
Digital
version
Foundry.
of the game? Digital Foundry. Does anybody do that treatment for mobile games so you know if your phone can actually run a game? Because I don't necessarily keep the newest phone. Like my phone is, I think like 3 years old now, and I don't plan on upgrading it. Like it doesn't not do anything I need it to do.
Point. I've never seen this. I mean, I'm sure there must be, but I've never seen someone that does that. Yeah, not to the same kind of degree.
Because this game looks graphically pretty stunning, to be honest with you. Like I can't believe this is a mobile game. So like, will my mobile run it? Will my older iPad run it? Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I have been looking for a reason. I got the new 8-bit do controller, and I did want to try it out with a mobile game. So maybe I'll just download this.
Does it sync? Does that sync with phones?
Yeah, it switches with it syncs with phones, PC, and Switch. This isn't a review, but it's got an actual switch on the back of it to do it too.
Okay.
With older 8-bit do stuff, you had to like hold a button combination to get it to go into the correct mode, which you always forgot and then had to go digging for the directions, which you lost 6 months ago. So then you got to go online and like look it up, and it's got paddles on the back.
Nice.
Which is kind of nice. And this one's kind of like PlayStation retro themed, which is kind of neat too.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, I'll probably have a review on that relatively soon. I still want to play. I haven't played any. I've only used it on PC. I haven't used it on Switch yet, and I haven't used it on mobiles yet. And it's weird. You ever notice you'll see reviews come out for things, and like, how could you possibly have reviewed this? They just sent these out. Like,
yeah, it's like there should be like times with like an impressions thing. Yeah, I saw like a review for like a really weird thing like the other day, and I was listening to it first, and for like a good chunk of it, I was like, oh, this is cool. They're speaking some like good information, and then at the end, it was like, I've only just used this, so I can't tell you what it's like, but I highly recommend this product. I'm just like, wait. You lost me there. You haven't used it. You can't tell me it was good, but you just told me to buy it. I'm like, okay, I'm gone.
My wife and I were having this conversation a couple of days ago, how basically it seems like this isn't just people reviewing video game stuff, but like so much of news and journalism is just reciting press releases. Like you get a press release, whether it's politics or from a company, and then it's just your news is somebody just reading that press release or rewriting that press release. And then if you look at one of the, like a channel that has like a take, then they're just, doing a take on a press release. But there's very little journalism happening, or there's less than there used to be. Feels like.
True. Maybe it's because they're all stuck at home. They're like, we can't actually go and investigate anything, so I've got to go and read these lines I've been given.
That's right. Anyhow. Me and my mother decided we're gonna subscribe to the local paper again, just to like give, because who's watching local government anymore? The local paper used to do that, right? YouTubers don't give a shit about my town government. I can tell you that.
That's what we need to have. We need to have local YouTubers, or maybe one YouTuber that goes through all the local news for everyone.
Imagine that, like
every day
for everybody, hour-long show every day.
Yeah.
Like, please include timestamps. I need to know where my village in the middle of Norway.
That's right. Oh, it sucks if your village starts with a Z too, man, because you just got to watch hours and hours. It's like waiting for the school cancellations on a snow day.
Oh,
I remember those days.
Scroll past.
It was always disappointing in the UK because we get a little bit of snow and it's never thick enough snow to even remotely cancel anything. No. But you still sit there, you're like, I hope they're going to cancel the schools. And you've got like a centimeter of snow. They're like, nope, you can come to school. Like, oh.
Sad about it. And then like you get a day where it's like all the towns surrounding your town canceled, but your town didn't. So you got to go to school. Oh man,
And the town posted about it. They're like, "Hey, we're super proud because we made it so you don't have to miss school." It's like, no, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Give me a day off, please.
Seriously.
True.
People underestimate the need for days off when you're a kid, I think.
True.
I think you should be able to take mental days off when you're a kid. And your parents should get them too.
To have that. Yeah, absolutely. Bungie started doing it with COVID, where it was, you have the regular days that you can take off, like you're free to, of course, have certain amount of days off. You can take vacation, but there's also these extra days that if you need a day because you're just not feeling great, you're not in the best of moods, you're feeling down, you're struggling, you need a day to just pamper yourself, you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody needs a day like that every once in a while. And sometimes if a family member needs one, you need to be there with them, right? It's like it's better to take a day together. And do some
Like
fun stuff together.
let's go somewhere together and make it a really nice day. And it's nice to have that start that conversation with children of understanding burnout, understanding, not feeling good in yourself.
Yeah.
Not just have to push
I
through
want it to be noted how much I'm resisting saying this is why there's no new Crucible maps in Destiny. Because I know it's a bad joke, but I just said it anyway, so I guess.
Oh dear. People still play that game? No, I'm joking.
Dead game.
Dead game. Unbelievable. Every game is a dead game, is what I've learned.
It's true.
What the hell were we talking about? I am lost.
This is what happens in this year, where there's suddenly for the I was generally thinking about this the other day. I was trying to look back and I was like, when was the last year we had like a gaming drought, like a proper drought? And I'm just like, I can't remember for a very, very long time. I think so again, I know obviously like times right now are definitely weird, but I just want this to be. There've been some rumblings. There was sort of like there was talk the other day for like Ubisoft kind of sort of do something around the E3 window. So obviously kind of companies are starting to spin up like ideas for that, and they're obviously putting feelers out for like, what are people comfortable doing and this, that, and the other. So I'm hoping that, as we kind of get towards that window, we're gonna have to start, regardless, people are gonna have to start sort of doing and planning some stuff. But yeah, it just seems so weird that, I mean, as I say, like I'm super. Oh, the only thing I'm actually kind of grateful for is that for the first time in a long time, I'm actually gonna have time to invest in a fighting game when it comes out, because when Guilty Gear Strive drops, like every time, like I love, like it's weird. I'm probably like average, or I'd even say below average at fighting games. I just really enjoy them. I'm not great at them, but I just really enjoy them. I'd probably say they're one of my favorite genres. But every time a fighting game comes out, it's also alongside like another game that I just have to be covering. So I just can't invest the time needed to be good at one. But Guilty Gear, I feel like, is the perfect one for me, because I love Guilty Gear anyway, but they specifically made a few systems slightly easier in this, which I know to some people in the FGC they weren't too much of a fan of. They were like, oh, they're dulling down to Guilty Gear. For me, it's great because it's very accessible, and the character that I've specifically decided to main, which is the new one, Giovanna, like has got a very simple moveset. So for someone like me, I'm like, it's a great place to start. So I'm actually looking forward to, for once, there actually not being like a plethora of games around the launch of it, because I can hopefully realize after my practice that I'm still rubbish, but it's fine. At least I've tried.
They're doing another public demo of that game too. So,
oh really?
Yeah, they're after the last public demo, everybody really liked the gameplay. Everybody really liked how good the online is, like PvP against other players, because they have a really good implementation of rollback netcode. So it's like people were playing across the world with like no perceivable issues at all, which is very difficult in a fighting game. The problem that people had was that the lobby system was like really bizarre. Instead of just like joining a lobby and like, when it's your turn, like getting moved up one square when it's your turn, or being able to do rematches, it was this weird like 8-bit kind of 16-bit looking like side scroller where you have like a side scrolling character and you got to run up to other people and challenge them that way. And then after the match, you just get warped to like a different part of the level, so you couldn't even do a rematch easily.
I don't understand.
So
like
there was a lot of outcry about that. So they're saying they're revamping that, and hopefully the next public beta will be much improved.
The thing is, because it's weird, it's baffled me when they did that. It's a really weird choice, because they've got plenty of other Guilty Gear, or like Guilty Gear games, or like other things that Arc System have done. Like Grand Blue Versus and stuff like that, where you still have a lobby system where you have a little character, but you normally go and sit on an arcade machine, and you both consciously sit there. So you're like, okay, cool, we battle. It's just so weird that in this one, it's like you have to initiate a battle state, and at any point, someone can just run up to you. And I'm like, well, I was sitting there during the beta trying to battle my friend, and then some random will be like, well, I'm going to play it. And it's like, no, I'm just standing here. I just want to fight my friend. Like, just give me keep the lobby system if you want to. Just make it so I can just press A on my friend. That's all I ask.
Or let me opt out and just use like a normal ass lobby system.
Or that. I mean, that would
with like
be
a menu.
better. Yeah, that would be far better. To be fair, like,
let me go. Start game. Find match.
Yeah.
I'm in a match.
Well, like in Street Fighter, it's so good because I can be playing any other mode of Street Fighter and just leave the matchmaking on, and it's just sitting there chugging away looking for a good match, and I can leave it to like only 5-bar connections, so I only get good matches, and it's in ranked, so I'm only getting like other people around my skill level, and then when it finds a match, it just says, "Do you want to accept this match?" And I say yes, and I'm brought into it, so I could be sitting there in training mode practicing combos. And then I get a match. Like, I love that system. I don't understand why I would want to be in this like 8-bit side scroller instead of practicing combos between matches.
Yeah, it's true.
True.
And I got a lot of practice needed.
I wish I could be good at Guilty Gear. It's like, have I put in time to get good at Guilty Gear? No, not really.
Oh dear. No, that's the thing with fighting games. Yeah, like you have to like. I'll always say the same thing. I'm like, oh, I wish I was better at these things. Like, yeah, but I have only really played for like 10 hours. No wonder these guys play every day.
Yeah, like thousands of hours, right? I did just order an Odin, which is a WASD. It's a SAD W key layout for a joystick. So it takes if you look at a joystick, like this is gonna work here. There we go. And like the SAD W keys that you use for movement in a first person in any PC game, right? Is they take those 3 keys and they put them on this little round puck, and the puck has like a tube that goes down into the joystick, so it's a direct replacement for an actual joystick on an arcade stick. So you keep the 8 buttons, the action buttons. But on your left hand, instead of using a joystick, you're using the SAD W keys to control like your movement. And what it allows you to do is do really accurate movements,
right?
Like fireballs or especially charge moves. With that, so I'm excited because I got that. They just sent me an email that they're available again, and they're sending one out.
Cool.
So that should be here soon, and it's cool that you don't have to buy a whole new arcade stick. Because this can just be retrofit onto an arcade stick that you already have, and it's only $65.
That's decent.
This isn't a review. Cool. I haven't actually used it yet, but it
we're doing
kind of a neat product.
You're doing the exact thing that we just talked about.
Yeah. Well, I didn't call it a review. That's what my problem is. It's like I look at something like a review and like this is just a press release. You're showing the product of these really nice B-roll shots, but you're not actually talking about like. What are the problems with it? What are the good things about it?
Right.
I don't know.
True.
I just realized that was the first time I've ever heard it called a SAD W key.
It is a better name than the WASD.
Yeah, I've never heard it be called that either.
Yeah, I was like, is this just a US thing that I just have only just picked up on? But like, it makes sense now. It's quite cool. I like it. Yeah, but it's easier to say than WASD.
Yeah, and it's funnier.
True.
Oh dear.
Oh, I have the Diablo 2 Resurrected trailer just popped up on my YouTube. I was watching another game you guys were talking about. This game I'm looking forward to this. When is this coming? Does anybody know? The Diablo 2 Resurrected?
The actual release date? I'm not sure. I've heard nothing but good things though for people who got in.
Yeah. Release date 2021.
Before the end of the year. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of that. There's a lot of games where it's like it's coming out this year, and then as you get going more and more, you're like, got any news there?
Yeah.
Any more news? No news.
Is that it for today? What else we got today?
I've just been playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much where I've spent my time. We've also lost Eric's apparently. It took me a
Oh,
while to tell.
I thought he was
Took
just
me a while.
concentrating. I thought he was intensely looking at something on his computer.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought. See, that's the good freeze.
His
That's the
girlfriend just sent
tricky
him
freeze.
nudes.
Yeah, that one took me a while. I thought he was researching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been playing Monster Hunter. I haven't done much else really. Well, I do play League of Legends pretty much every day. There was a new champion that came out in League of Legends, so that was cool.
How many champions are there now?
Like 130. Let's see. League of Legends champion.
Like you got to learn all of them, right? At least to somewhat to know like how to play against them.
155.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That's a lot to know. How long have you been playing League of Legends? Longer than Destiny.
I've been playing for 9 years.
9 years.
It's been a long time.
Do you have like a group, the same team that you play with every time?
Yeah, so when I first started playing, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll play ranked, ranked's fun." And I still do, I enjoy the idea of ranked. But we have a group that we play with every night. So it's kind of just a way for bunch of people who play the same game to hang out with each other and catch up and have a good time.
There we go.
So that's
what's been the video.
That's what's been keeping me playing.
I'm League of Legends curious. What was do you remember when Blizzard made one of those? I think it was called Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm, yep.
I dabbled in that one a little bit because people said it was kind of like a beginner's MOBA.
Yeah.
And it was an easy one to learn. And I was enjoying it quite a bit. But I never took the leap to one of the serious ones like Dota or League.
So the Wild Rift, which is the mobile version, people are saying that it is a better introduction to League of Legends than regular League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of explains things a bit better. So that could be an option. It's all free, so it's all worth a try. It is a very hard game to learn because obviously you do have the 155 champions, so you do to some extent have to learn, how does your character match up against them? What do they do in order to play against them? But then you also need to learn the rest of the game, the actual, strategy of winning the game. So
I just like to say jungling a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be a jungler, Brian?
Oh, that's even more fun. I think saying I want to be a jungler is more fun than saying jungling. It's just jungle is a good word, right?
It's a good word.
And then you add stuff to the end of it and it gets better.
Briar, it's only 4:19. It's not 4:20 yet.
Hey, you got to prep. You don't want to roll into 4:20 on a cold start.
That's true. True.
That's what you blow your motor that way.
Just sitting there going jungling, jungler. I want to be a jungler.
Jungle.
That's your preview of 4:20, ladies and gentlemen.
The reason one of the things about fighting games is like one of the reasons I'm really excited about Strive is because you get into a fighting game at the beginning when they haven't added like 40 characters yet. It's a little easier to learn as they add characters as opposed to jump into the middle of 45 character fighting game. And I would imagine that's true with MOBAs too. It's like if you can get in at the beginning when there's, I don't know, how many characters do they add at the beginning of a MOBA?
I wonder how many, I bet I could probably find out pretty easily what they started with.
Because 150 is a big ass learning curve.
It's a lot. How many champions did League? 40. It started with 40.
Okay.
So
that's
similar to a fighting game.
Yeah, that's
it
still
is a
lot.
Bunch. Well, I guess because you have to make enough space for like banning champions in ranked and picking champions. So there's going to be 5 unique champions on either side. So there has to be 10 unique at any time plus counter in the bans.
Was League of Legends one of the ones that was based off of the Valve
Dota.
game? Was it based off of Warcraft?
Yeah.
So Warcraft 3, and then they made Dota, and then League of Legends was
League of
based
Legends
off of Dota?
Riot kind of does that a lot. They see a formula or a game that's working really well, and they're like, we could take this and do this as well, because they did that with Hearthstone. made their own card game. TFT, they made their own auto chess.
Okay.
So,
They're making a
yeah.
fighting game.
They are making fun.
League
They're
of
also making an
Legends, the
MMO.
fighting game. Really?
Yeah.
Because they haven't hooked enough. They haven't caused enough addiction in gamers yet with a MOBA. You know, there's still a few out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Still got
I'd
some
be
hours left in that
interested.
week.
I like their character design. Like their character
Yeah.
design is really strong. So if you give me a game like the fighting game with League of Legends characters, I'm like, ooh. Like I think I would be more interested in Valorant if it was League of Legends characters that were in Valorant.
Okay.
It's not really my type of game, but I would be more interested.
Yeah. Wasn't there just an anime released, or was that Dota? Was it the Dota
Dota.
anime? Okay.
Dota anime.
I get them a little
I
mixed
should
up.
watch that.
Yeah. I'm
I
surprised
want
you
to see what
haven't.
it's like.
You can put it on a
Dota.
podcast. I don't know about anime. I don't know what you'd call it, though.
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Impossible to figure out.
We could workshop that. Should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think so. We lost Eric's. Tefty's
Yeah.
abandoned us to join a
Yes.
gang, apparently. He keeps talking about Gang Pfizer. I don't know if that's a new street gang.
I'm on
popped
Gang
up.
Pfizer.
What if should I make sure that I'm also on the same gang? I said this to Tomo yesterday. We were looking at vaccination sites and we're like, this
Yeah.
one is Moderna. Is that okay? And I'm like, well, technically, but what if a gang war starts?
Yeah.
And
you want to
you know,
want to choose your gang wisely. You want to be like on the Sharks, and all of a sudden what was the other gang from never mind. I can't finish the joke because I'm not knowledgeable enough. Yeah, I mean the Pfizer team, the Moderna team, and then the J&J team, right?
Yeah.
The J&J team are slackers. They only got one shot.
Yeah. They didn't work as hard for their gang affiliation.
I really wanted to be on the J&J team, but then they pulled the J&J team off the market. They got banned.
They got banned. They were too hardcore of a gang. Got banned.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with that, but I'm kind of glad I didn't get it now.
Yeah. So I was just saying, what if we do end up in a world where we are segregated based on our vaccination? Got to think about it. Got to think about these things.
That's true. My next shot is next Monday, actually. But it doesn't conflict with the podcast.
Okay.
It was
that's
early.
Good.
It only takes 15
responsible.
minutes to get in and out. No, I just got lucky. I took whatever time they would give me. It didn't matter. This is during your mother's birthday. I don't care. Just give it to me.
Yeah. We tried to get one and it was like, we've got 400 appointments available to get you in, but it was all for the second shot, not for the first shot.
Oh, well, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, is the second shot chemically different than the first shot?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not a scientist.
They made me do like a second, like, have you gotten COVID since your first shot? I'm like, wait a minute. I thought the whole thing was to prevent COVID.
Different dose, apparently. It's a different
dose. I heard the second shot hits harder.
That's what I
just
hear.
like tequila.
That's why we're trying to separate me and Tomo getting the second shot. We don't want to both be sick at the exact same time.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, one of you should get the Moderna and the other should get the Pfizer, and then you should compare and contrast.
That's true. That would be fun. That does sound like a fun way to do vaccines.
Yeah.
Because
that's what COVID's all about. Fun.
Yeah, it's about fun.
It's the
fun
most
and
fun
gang
virus.
affiliation.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
Well, yeah. Let's stop before I end up
talk before we insult
gang.
hundreds of people or thousands of people.
All right. Well,
what are you up to this week, Watts?
Well, I think I'm gonna play Monster Hunter today because on Tuesday is the Guardian game starting, which actually I'm interested in. I want to play a decent amount of Guardian games. So I think I'm gonna get in a Monster Hunter day before it's taken over by lots of Destiny.
I think I'm gonna play a little bit of Guardian games too. I'm looking forward to that. I really like that they started a playlist for that, and you're set up with it's all just hunters. I don't have to talk to any warlocks at all.
Yeah, it's great. Speaking of gangs.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for episode don't know of SideQuest.
If you want to find Eric's, find him at Eric's Gaming on YouTube. Right. Especially if you want to learn about Monster Hunter weapons and stuff. It's great.
And if you want to find Tefty, you can find him standing in the line getting his Pfizer shot.
It's true. He has a sticker now. So if you look out for a man with a beard and a sticker, that might be Tefty.
That's right. I bet there's a lot of people that look like that around that area.
Maybe.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.